Chapter 8. Nothing would ever be the same. Huzur broke the silence.
You? Again? For God's sake, why can't I get away from you?
Macera raised a brow, half amused, half provoked.
Oh God, here we go again. And now you think I'm stalking you?
She smiled faintly, then added,
This small princess needed to make a wish, so I brought her here.
She took Kelebek's hand and gently guided her forward.
Kelebek, you're here!
Mujiza gasped, jumping out of Huzur's arms.
Come on, let's buy some cotton candy.
They both turned to Huzur and Macera, waiting for permission. Huzur didn't respond, but Macera nodded.
Go on, my little gang. Enjoy yourselves.
The two children laughed and ran off. Macera folded her arms.
See? Even Mujiza gets along with me and Kelebek. But you're an egocentric man. You see nothing beyond yourself and your priorities.
As she finished her words, a man in the crowd bumped into her, pushing her slightly forward. Huzur instantly reached out, grabbing her by the arms. Firmly, tightly, almost furiously, as she nearly lost balance near the lake's edge. The moonlight danced on the rippling water, reflected in her blue eyes like waves of silk. He froze for a moment, lost in the portrait in front of him, then snapped out of it.
And you? Do you think you're perfect, huh? You're narcissistic, selfish, and shallow. You don't even deserve my time.
Macera blinked her tears away and grabbed his jacket, pulling him closer.
And what else? Don't be shy. Say it all. Actually, I was the fool who believed your ridiculous lullaby of peace. But don't worry. Mark my words, you'll regret this soon.
He clenched his jaw, ready to answer, but she raised her hand slightly.
You know what? I won't ruin the magic of tonight by listening to your lectures. At least for this one night. Hush that storm inside your heart and feel the beauty around you. Maybe you'll find a little peace and let others feel some, too.
She walked toward a bench near the lake and sat down, watching Kelebek and Mujiza playing with cotton candy under the lantern lights. A faint, practiced smile appeared on her face. Huzur stood silently for a moment before sitting on the bench just behind her. Minutes passed. Then, as if guided by the same invisible thread, they both leaned forward, eyes lifted to the navy blue sky, where the lanterns floated higher, shimmering beside the stars, drifting away, little by little, with every heartbeat. With every caress of wind, they whispered an ethereal aroma of hope, dreams, and life. Even if not forever. Those fleeting moments revived something deep within Macera and Huzur, a feeling their souls had been craving for so long. Serenity. In the mansion, a few hours later, the two angelic souls, Kelebek and Mujiza, were grinning from ear to ear. Mujiza clutched Kelebek's hands as if he had finally found the company that could fill his loneliness. Behind them, Macera and Huzur exchanged a long, wordless glance, a silence softer than words. It was one of those nights that filled the heart with whispers of warmth. No one dared to spoil its peace. After saying goodnight to Mujiza, Kelebek disappeared into her room, leaving the boy's eyes still shining with joy. He turned to Huzur, hesitating a little, then asked with a hopeful tone,
Uncle, would you tell me a story tonight?
Huzur paused, but when he saw Mujiza's expectant smile, something gentle cracked inside him. He nodded quietly and followed the boy into the room. Macera didn't enter her own room. Curiosity, soft but persistent, held her steps. She wanted to see that hidden side of Huzur, that deep warmth she had never witnessed before.
All right,
Huzur said, opening the wardrobe.
let's pick tonight's story randomly. Let's see what destiny chooses.
His hand stopped on a worn-out book. He read the title, The Tale of Kitsune.
Interesting.
He murmured, brushing the dust from its cover. He shut down the lights, switched on the small projector, and chose an orange hue. The room was instantly wrapped in that warm, mysterious glow, a world made of secrets and firelight. He began in a calm, low voice.
Once upon a time, there lived a fox called Katsune in one of the calmest villages. She was strong, clever, yet too mysterious for anyone to truly understand. For many days, Katsune wandered hungry, too weak to even dream. One afternoon, she saw a piece of cheese resting high upon a tree branch. With all the strength she had left, she began to climb. Halfway up, she finally reached it. But at that exact moment, a crow swooped down and stole it from her. Katsune felt her heart twist with bitterness and hunger. She sat beneath the tree, tears streaming down her face, while the crow flew higher, teasing her, flaunting the stolen prize. But then, Katsune stopped crying. She wiped her tears and with a trembling smile whispered, "Ah, I'm too desperate tonight. I wish someone could sing for me." The crow tilted his head, curious. Katsune added softly, "I've heard that somewhere in our village there's a talented crow who sings beautifully. Wait, he looks exactly like you." The crow puffed his chest proudly. Katsune's eyes glimmered with admiration. She spotted a cord lying beside the tree and snatched it in a sudden moment and said, "Would you sing for me with your magical voice?" She said, "I'm too sad tonight, and you look so elegant." The crow, full of vanity, spread his wings and began to sing loudly. The moment he opened his beak, the piece of cheese fell. Katsune caught it swiftly, placing it beside her. When the crow realized the trick, he swooped down in anger, but Katsune struck him and tied him to the tree. "You sing so well, ha ha ha," she laughed, biting into the cheese. Then, with eyes full of cunning fire, she whispered, "Never play with a Katsune when she's hungry."
Huzur closed the book slowly. Mujiza was staring at him, wide-eyed.
Katsune is scary, Uncle.
He murmured sleepily. Huzur smiled faintly.
"Yes, my child. She is, but maybe she just had a bad day."
Mujiza's eyelids fluttered, and he drifted into sleep. Huzur's voice, now softer but deeper, filled the quiet room.
Or maybe she never found someone who truly understood her. Maybe life itself turned her heart to stone.
From the doorway, the wind whispered against the curtains, carrying the faint scent of rain. Macera watched the scene silently, her lips trembling into a tender smile. Her eyes glistened with something she couldn't name.
Maybe loneliness is the reason.
She whispered to herself. Before turning away into the corridor, the orange glow of the room still flickering in her eyes like a distant memory. Dawn broke again, and Macera couldn't sleep. She opened the window, drowning in the depths of her thoughts. The cold air filled her lungs, carrying faint whispers of hope, while the fog began to blur the garden below, as if murmuring secrets she had yet to understand. Was it a sign, or the melody of a coming storm. She didn't know. All she knew was that she had to divert Huzur's gaze from her past. Because deep down, she knew no one would ever show her mercy. Childhood wounds, no matter how hard you try to erase them, chase you relentlessly. She remembered those glances. Pity, disgust, perhaps even hatred in the eyes of the townspeople when she was just a little girl. How the children would leave her alone in the middle of a game. How some would attack her at school, or even outside. She used to hate rainy days the most, because the world seemed to turn its back on her then. And the sound of rain only made her loneliness echo louder inside her small, trembling heart. The worst part was that she never understood what she had done wrong. Yet she carried that heavy burden on her tiny shoulders and bore it alone. Now, people had forgotten. They were always chasing new scandals to entertain themselves. But she hadn't. She still carried that invisible weight pressing against her heart. Day after day, then with a bitter, trembling voice, she whispered to herself,
What makes Huzur any different from them? You think he could even look at your face, let alone work with you? For God's sake, who would ever accept to live with a criminal, Macera?
A few minutes later, Macera noticed little Mujiza sitting on the swing, trying to push himself with all his tiny strength, but he couldn't. She ran downstairs and gently covered his eyes with her hands.
Peekaboo, guess who?
Aha, fairytale.
Oh wow.
She laughed softly, whispering near his ear.
And how did you know?
From your scent, Abla, you smell like lemon cake.
Macera hugged him tightly, unable to resist that pure innocence shining through his eyes.
What's wrong, my little miracle? Is the swing being stubborn?
Oh, yes, Abla. I think I'm shorter than the swing.
Macera smiled, closing her eyes as if to capture the moment.
Let this super Abla teach you 3 magical rules to enjoy the swing. First, balance. Second, lift your legs higher and don't be scared. I'm right here. And third,
She paused, eyes glowing with tenderness.
freedom.
Mujiza gasped, blinking up at her.
Freedom? What does it mean?
Yes, my little miracle. Let the fresh air guide you. Feel every whisper of the wind and just fly with the flow. Trust your power and go with the wind. You'll see how it works.
Suddenly, a gentle breeze arose, soothing the soul like a healing balm. Mujiza adjusted himself, lifting his tiny legs as Macera pushed him slightly. His hair flew with the wind.
Yoo-hoo!
Laughter bloomed like sunlight. His chuckles were pure and melodious, like a nightingale's song. At that moment, the sun rose, painting soft shimmers of orange and gold over their faces. A few seconds later, Kelebek joined them. Mujiza was grinning from ear to ear. It had been so long since he had felt such peace mingled with harmony. At that sacred moment, Huzur returned from his morning run. The scene froze him in place. The sun dancing on flowers, the laughter of children. The sight of Macera's smile bright and unguarded. He stood there silently captivated. The turquoise of her eyes shimmered beneath the light, like a still lake murmuring secrets of peace. Something inside him, something long buried, began to thaw.
Abla, you too! Ride the swing!
Kelebek cheered.
Yes, Abla, let us push you!
Mujiza added. Macera laughed, surprised. The 2 little souls grabbed her hands and helped her sit on the swing. Her brown locks danced in the sunlight, blending the air with their lavender scent, soft and free. It was the first time she had swung without fear. No rules, no punishment, no guilt. For once, she allowed herself to simply be. After a few joyful rounds, she lost her balance, and the world tilted. Until strong hands caught her from behind. Huzur. Her hair brushed against his face. Her turquoise eyes met his hazel ones. Light melting into light. He steadied her gently, his voice low and sincere.
Are you okay?
She blushed, perhaps because it was the first time he had truly shown worry for her. Nodding softly, she turned to Mujiza with a faint smile.
And now, how do you feel, my little miracle?
So happy, Abla, thank you.
He replied, jumping with joy. Macera smiled, and for the first time in forever, something inside her loosened quietly, like a knot waiting for years to untie itself. For the first time, dawn didn't hurt. Later that morning, Macera slipped into her suit and waited in Huzur's office with Jesur and Huzur himself. The atmosphere was calm but expectant, filled with the quiet tension of beginnings that matter. Moments later, Mr. Haroon entered the room. He shook their hands warmly and turned to Macera with a wide smile.
Oh, now this is what I call a perfect team.
He said cheerfully.
Huzur and Jesur, you found the missing piece. Congratulations. And I must say, Miss Yilmaz, I've heard quite a lot about your success.
Macera smirked faintly, then glanced at Huzur, who responded with a heavy smile and a soft sigh, a trace of something unreadable in his eyes. Once they were all seated, Mr. Haroon began speaking, his tone calm yet filled with depth.
Human emotions are like a secret forest. The deeper you walk in, the more truths you uncover. Each feeling roots itself in memory, and every behavior grows from a hidden reason.
He paused, letting his words breathe before continuing.
Let this project be a sanctuary, a bridge between law and heart, where justice learns to listen, and psychology dares to heal.
The three of them listened attentively, drawn into the meaning behind each phrase. Finally, Mr. Haroon concluded.
Never forget, while working on these cases, millions of lives may depend on your proficiency. Even a 0.01% of hope can change destinies and create miracles.
That word, miracles, echoed in Macera's heart like a soft whisper. She repeated inwardly.
What a beautiful phrase. Yes, exactly. If there is hope, there are always miracles.
She smiled faintly to herself, remembering the sound of Mujiza's laughter that very morning, his voice rising like a tiny hymn to life, to freedom, to hope. Across the table, Huzur's gaze flickered for a brief moment, as if he too had heard that same echo in his heart. And in the stillness that followed, the unspoken truth settled quietly between them. Sometimes, even the smallest miracle can heal the deepest wound. The next morning, a faint scent of smoke drifted through the air, carried by the wind that swept across the garden. From the living room, the television's low hum broke the silence. Sultan Hanım sat on the couch, her expression tight with worry as breaking news flashed across the screen.
Several fires erupted last night in the outskirts of Denizli.
The reporter announced.
Authorities suspect arson. While no injuries have been reported, multiple homes were lost, and the investigation continues.
Macera, seated beside her, glanced at the images of the flames devouring the trees and rooftops. For a moment, she couldn't move. Something about that orange glow unsettled her. Not fear exactly, but a quiet unease she couldn't name.
Denizli is burning again.
Sultan Hanım murmured with a long sigh. Macera didn't answer. The flickering light on the screen cast a strange warmth across her face. A warmth that felt too close to alive. She forced a faint smile and muttered.
Maybe every fire hides a story, Sultan Hanım.
Sultan Hanım's eyes lingered on the screen, her voice dropping to a whisper.
Or maybe this fire is a sign of another storm.
Her words hung in the air, vague, sorrowful, heavy with memories she didn't dare to name. In his office, the faint scent of smoke reached Huzur's senses. His chest tightened. He loosened the first button of his shirt and drew in a shaky breath. Jessour glanced at him, concern shadowing his face.
Are you okay, brother?
Huzur turned toward the window and closed it firmly, his jaw tense.
I just want to know
He murmured.
why the past keeps following me like a cursed ring whenever I try to move on. A sign, a single spark, drags me back into the same darkness.
He paused, eyes heavy with exhaustion.
I won't work on that case. Inform Mr. Harun.
At that very moment, Macera, who had overheard part of the conversation, stepped into the room. She blinked, genuinely surprised.
You refusing this one? The project everyone's fighting to be part of?
He looked away, fixing his gaze on the window instead.
Not every battle is worth fighting.
He said quietly, her brows furrowed, curiosity lighting her tone.
Or maybe some wars scare even the bravest soldiers.
He smirked faintly, though his eyes stayed cold.
I don't fight meaningless wars.
Her voice sharpened.
Who are you to decide alone? I've been waiting for days to start this project, and now you want to cancel it. Am I a joke to you?
Huzur's eyes flashed, sharp, poisonous, blazing with restrained fury. Without a word, he turned and strode out, the door slamming behind him.
Hey, where are you going?
She called after him, but Jessour gently caught her arm.
Macera, please, not now.
He said softly before following Huzur. Left alone, she stood still, her thoughts tangled between confusion and indignation. Her gaze fell to the file on the desk. Slowly, she reached for it, flipping through its pages. Moments later, she drew in a deep breath and dialed Mr. Harun's number.
Hello, Mr. Harun.
She said calmly.
I'd like to meet you to talk about the case.
When the call ended, she leaned back in the chair, whispering to herself.
Now I've found something to draw your gaze away from my past, Mr. Huzur. Let's see how you feel when someone else starts controlling your path.
Same day, after few hours, Huzur searched the mansion like a man possessed. He barged into his office and slammed the door so hard the whole room shivered. Then he saw her at the window, pale against the glass, calm as moonlight. His eyes reddened. He crossed the room in 2 long strides, breathing fury.
How dare you accept that case? Huh? Who do you think you are? Deciding for yourself.
He spat.
Your partner.
She answered, her voice both velvet and venom.
Partner? Ha ha ha. Really funny. You cling to that stupid piece of paper? Watch what I can do.
He reached for the contract, fingers trembling. Her voice cut him like a blade.
Try, and I'll have you behind bars.
He smiled with irony.
Oh, really? What confidence? What rubbish?
Not rubbish. Facts.
She stepped forward, cool and steady.
Right now, imagine what would happen if the whole community knew you're a fraud.
Her words landed like stones.
A psychologist who toys with people's lives. A corrupt man.
With a smooth motion, she produced a stack of papers. Hassan's trap, the money laundering file, documents she'd found here in his room.
I didn't plan to use these on good days, but today is perfect.
She leaned closer, whispering.
Do you want to know why I came back to the mansion? I'm here to destroy you, Huzur Aslan, to take everything.
She sat, legs crossed, eyes on him.
I won't leave. For 6 months the contract stays and we'll work this case. Or I'll watch you fall.
Huzur's jaw tightened. He ground his teeth. She smiled, cold and fierce.
Ha ha ha. You never expect how a Katsune behaves when you test her anger.
Her voice struck like thunder, shaking the air around them. Words became arrows. Hearts drummed like war drums under the stars. In that storm, nothing existed but their clash. Fierce, unyielding, unforgettable. Outside, a lantern drifted free into the night. For a breath, Huzur felt something colder than anger stir inside him. The knowledge that nothing would ever be the same.